Councillors, chief officers, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding to receive the worshipful, the Mayor of Knowsley, Councillor Frank Walsh.
Thank you, colleagues. Please be seated. Colleagues, welcome to this meeting and welcome to everyone in the public gallery. Can I remind everyone that all mobile phones should be turned to silent for the duration of this meeting, and can I ask all members to ensure that they use the microphones. Please note that, as usual, the Council will be filming and recording this meeting. This will include people sitting in the public gallery. A copy of the film will be uploaded to the Knowsley Council YouTube site in due course following this meeting. Can I also refer everyone to the order paper that is being placed in front of them on each seat in the public gallery. Item number 1, minutes. Are the minutes agreed? Thank you. Item number 2, declarations of interest. Thank you. Item 3, mayoral communications. Colleagues, can you please note these mayoral communications? Item 3B, recognition of community achievements. Colleagues, I would like to take this opportunity to recognise the contribution of Mr. Trevor Williams, who is here in the chamber this evening. Trevor has made a significant contribution to Knowsley over a period of 25 years, representing the Church of England Diocese on various committees and working parties. In fact, this year, Trevor sat on both the Schools Forum and the Council's Children's Scrutiny Committee. Trevor recently took the decision to retire for health reasons, and I am sure colleagues will agree that we will be sorry to see him go. I would therefore like to thank Trevor on behalf of the Council for your significant contribution to the borough over a lengthy period of time, and wish you well for the future. Trevor, can I now ask you to come forward so that I can present you with a certificate in recognition of your contribution. Colleagues, I would also like to take this opportunity to recognise the contribution of Dame Lorna Muirhead, who recently retired from her post of Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside. Her Majesty's Lord Lieutenants are the representatives of the Crown for each county in the United Kingdom and were originally appointed in Henry VIII's reign. Dame Lorna, however, hasn't been serving our community for quite as long as that. But given that she was appointed in October 2006, it is nonetheless a significant contribution to the borough. In fact, Dame Lorna was appointed Dame Commander of the Royal Victorian Order in the 2017 New Year's Honours List for her services as Lord Lieutenant of Merseyside. Colleagues, I therefore like to ask you to join me in thanking Dame Lorna for her contribution, and ask you, Dame Lorna, would you please come forward so that I can present you with a certificate in recognition of your contribution to Knowsley.
It's all right to kiss the mayor. Be careful, little people talking. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I would love to say something. How long have you got? It's great to be here. For those of you that don't know me, in this damehood business, my real work is as Chummy, the posh girl on the bicycle, in Call the Midwife. That's what I did for 40 years in Liverpool Centre before I was asked to be the Lord Lieutenant. I've absolutely loved every moment of it. I've done so much here in Knowsley. I've visited your schools, I've visited your food banks, I've visited your factories, I've visited your mayors, I've eaten your food, I've done lots and lots of things. And I have to say, in sincerity, it's been marvellous actually meeting councillors. You know, one of the things in life, the very first thing I did in public life was to be a school governor. And I always had the highest regard for teachers. But when I became a school governor, that regard went up. It really did. I thought, my goodness, this is really what they do. And now I've met councillors, I actually always held those who actually use their energy and endeavour to make life better for us in our boroughs, in our country, and in our county. I've always had the highest regards for them, even if I haven't agreed with them. But who would turn out on a wet Tuesday night to worry about whether our dustbins get emptied or not? People like you. And much, obviously, that's a very simple thing. But actually, since I've met you, since I've spoken to you, since I've known a lot more of your work, just like the teachers, my respect for you has gone up. So thank you very much for what you do for us. You're the unsung heroes. I suspect it's a bit like the health service that I worked in. We only ever hear things when they go wrong. We don't hear all the wonderful things that you do day by day and get it right. But we miss you if you weren't there. Thank you for this honour.
Item number 4, public question time. No public questions have been received. Item number 5, Knowsley Community Safety Plan, Strategic Priorities 2017-2020. Councillor Connor.
Could I move that report, please?
Thank you, Councillor Connor. Councillor Moorhead.
I second them recommendations, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moorhead. Colleagues, are there any questions or comments from members of the Council? Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, this is a question. Following the residents' meeting on the 9th of November 2017 held in Prescott to discuss crime and antisocial behaviour, it was attended by over 300 people. Has the Director updated or amended this report? The reason I ask that is that the major criticism of the Council at the meeting from residents was the lack of leisure facilities for young people in particular, and obviously that has not been helped by the recent report on parks and children's playgrounds across the borough. In my opinion, there's certainly much more work required in this area to improve the report, and at the moment its omission kind of undermines the report for me.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Colleagues, are there any further questions from members of the council? Councillor Connor, do you wish to respond to Councillor Smith's comments?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I don't have an answer at the moment. I will gather the information. I will send it out to all members.
Thank you, Councillor Connor. Colleagues, if there are no amendments, can I put the motion to the vote? All those in favour? All those against? Would anybody like to abstain? The motion is carried. Item number 6, joint authorities and combined authority. Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is to Councillor McGlashan. I understand that the Saturday service from Kirby to Rainhill, the 297 bus, has been cut. I've been informed it's the 8 o'clock bus in particular. But obviously with Knowsley Village being in my ward, it's particularly affecting those residents, leaving them more isolated at weekends. I think this is an important time for people to get the bus from the village to wherever they're going to work. Could Councillor McGlashan bring us up to date on the situation and inform us of any development that could see the bus being reinstated at that particular time? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor McGlashan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Smith, for your question. This is all part of the deregulation from 1985, when public transport was taken out of public hands and put in private hands. So the withdrawal of the one commercial journey, which is the 8 o'clock journey from Rainhill to Kirby, on the 2-9 service by Hattons, has occurred outside of the review, the Knowsley review process. This review is ongoing, so it will be looked at again further. This is a commercial decision by the operator due to low numbers of users. The patronage has been reported as 6 passengers and also confirmed by a physical check. From Merseytravel's point of view, we have considered this and have assessed that there are alternative options available and therefore we would not look to replace that one journey. To do so, the annual cost would be in the region of £20,000 to £30,000, this for one journey over 12 months. The journey can still be made by utilising the 10A and 217 or 227 and interchanging at Page Moss. The direct journey time was 9 minutes less and allowances would be required for the interchange. However, it is worth noting that the 10A is a high frequency service which runs every 6 minutes and the 217-227 runs every 15 minutes, thus making a reasonable interchange time. For those travelling from Prescott, there are also 2 direct services to Kirby, the 290 at 0731 and the 297 at 0932. However, this service operates Monday to Friday only. Knowsley Village provision is covered by the service 290 operated by Comfybus. There have been no recent changes to weekend provision for Knowsley Village. So that's what we can do up to now, Chairman. But as I say, it's a commercial decision. The operators are there to make a profit, and if they wish to withdraw the service, they give 56 days notice, and Merseytravel has no option but to accept that. There's just one additional bit of information which isn't pertinent to Councillor Smith's question, but the Arriva bus strike has been averted. They've reached the 2-year agreement, so that's helpful. Also, those people who've had monthly or weekly bus tickets who were affected by the strike, if they write to the customer services at Merseytravel or Arriva, you will get a day ticket for the days you missed. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor McGlashan. Councillor Smith, as the originator of the initial question, would you like to ask a supplementary question?
I'm quite happy with that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Councillor Cashman, I believe you have a question you'd like to ask.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. With the recent horrific events in Prescott and across the whole of the borough recently, How can the council better work together with police and the community to ensure the safety of all in our local area?
Thank you, Councillor Cashman. Councillor Moorhead.
Thanks again, Mr Mayor. Thanks again, Councillor Cashman. Can I ask Eddie Connor to respond on our behalf? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Moorhead. Councillor Connor.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Thank you, Leader, for the question, and thank you, Councillor Cashman, for the question itself. Thank you. Members will be aware of the awful events in Prescott, but they cannot be seen in isolation. We had an unprecedented total of 4 murders across the borough in recent months, which is tragic. In the aftermath of the 4 murders, and in order to ensure that we had all the information available, I invited senior police officers to a meeting for all members which took place on the 14th of November. This followed the community meeting in Prescott that was attended by council officers together with elected members from both parties. The meeting in the council chamber included presentations by the police officers who updated us all on the 4 murders and also discussed how the council could offer support in the most appropriate ways. As the cabinet member and the leader of the council welcomed the presentation and reflected on the number of recent serious incidents which have taken place both here and across the region. In particular, the leader wished to place on record his thanks to the Chief Inspector Tammy Garvey-Jones and Knowsley's Area Commander Paul Levick for their response to the incidents. Councillor Moorhead suggested that in the light of these incidents, a summit would be held with key partners to identify the way in which the police could be supported to provide the public with confidence that all the partners are working together to tackle these issues. I have also recently tasked officers to develop a response to the growing crime rates and the feeling in the community that antisocial behaviour is on the rise, which mirrors the actual 20% rise in crime that we have seen over the past year or so. And I will keep councillors informed that as our approach to the partnership area problem solving develops. So what can we do as a council and individual community leaders? Excuse me. Merseyside Police Force has already lost 1,000 officers as a result of the austerity measures. The council, with its other Labour councils, and will continue to lobby government for extra funding for the police, along with Labour MPs and Labour Police and Crime Commission of Merseyside. We all need to sign to the police's Twitter account so that we can be kept aware of incidents taking place in our community. We need to encourage residents to report crime and antisocial behaviour through the normal routes. If residents don't report these things, the police simply don't know it's happened. We can work with our residents to develop a neighbourhood watch WhatsApp group and use the social media so that we can keep in touch. We can also encourage residents to provide video footage to the police from their own devices or their dash cams when the police make appeals for evidence. The council has already provided countless evidence files from our own CCTV. Everyone has a role to play in keeping our neighbourhoods safe. As a responsible citizen, we can help the police both individually and collectively. Knowsley has a proud record with regard to supporting our community partners. Our crime rates have compared well with our neighbours, and as a result of this, I have personally had the thanks from the police officers for the way the council and the police work together to make Knowsley a safer place to live and visit. Knowsley's crime rate in the last 12 months is 70.2 per 1,000 population. This compares with Merseyside's average of 84.5 and the statistical neighbours of an average of 99.3. Mr Mayor, the events in Prescott, Northwood and Northampton are terrible for families and for our communities involved. My words today demonstrate that the Council will continue to support the police and other partners as we work with our communities to ensure that Knowsley residents remain safe in our communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Connor. Councillor Cashman, once again, as the originator of the initial question, would you like to ask a supplementary question?
I'll do. Thank you very much, Mr Mayor. Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Connor. Item number 8, notices of motion. Support victims of violence against women and girls. I understand that Councillor Chris O'Hare is unable to make it this evening. I hope Chris makes a speedy recovery and I wish her well. Councillor Mary Stewart, I believe you will move the motion on Councillor O'Hare's behalf.
Thank you, Chair. Happy to move this notice of motion.
Thank you, Councillor Stewart. Councillor Connor, I believe you wish to second the motion.
Can I second that motion, Mr Mayor?
Thank you, Councillor Connor. Councillor Stewart, do you wish to speak on the motion?
No, you feel self-explanatory. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stewart. Councillor Connor, do you wish to speak on the motion?
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Are there any other members who wish to speak on the motion? Very well. On that basis, all those in favour? All those against? Would anybody like to abstain? The motion is carried. Number 2, ISS Facilities Management Limited at the Royal Liverpool and Broad Green University Hospitals NHS Trust. Councillor Moorhead, I believe you have a motion you wish the Council to consider.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Can I just move the motion as it's laid out in the papers?
Thank you, Councillor Moorhead. Councillor Murphy, I believe you wish to second the motion.
Yes, I'll second the motion, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Murphy. Councillor Moorhead, do you wish to speak on the motion?
Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Moorhead. Councillor Murphy, do you wish to speak on the motion?
Oh, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Are there any other members who wish to speak on the motion? On that basis, all those in favour? Thank you. All those against? Thank you. Would anybody like to abstain? The motion is carried. And finally, colleagues, item number 9. Any other items? Colleagues, there are no further items of an urgent nature. I would like to thank you all for your attendance here this evening. Can I take this opportunity in wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and I declare the meeting closed. Thank you.
Please be upstanding for the Mayor.